If I were the president of the Philippines. Being president is a difficult and tiring job because it is necessary to address the problems that the country is facing in different sectors such as agriculture, energy, education, and many others. As the president of the country, it is appropriate that he understands the problem and has the talent to solve it. The president must know how to run and develop the country and care about its people. So if I were the president of the Philippines, these are the programs and changes I would like to implement.
The agricultural sector will be my priority as president. The Philippines is a tropical country where the climate here is ideal for many types of crops such as rice and bananas. If I were the president, I would launch a cell phone and computer application similar to Shopee and Lazada that would serve as an inventory of agricultural products. With this application, all farmers and fishermen in the country will record their harvest here. Through this, the government or Department of Agriculture can determine where there is an overharvest or catch of a particular product. The provincial government can buy the product from the areas that have an excess of it when it is known that its supply is lacking in the markets and sell it at a central food terminal of the province. Through this application and the cooperation of the provincial government, it will help farmers and fishermen to sell their produce and catch and to prevent it from rotting, which is very regrettable because the efforts of the farmers have been wasted. It will also help to lower the price of goods in the market. The removal of the rice tariffication law will also help to better sell the products of local farmers and prevent the oversupply of a particular product in the markets, which causes a decrease in the price of the product, which causes the loss of farmers. But the Department of Agriculture also needs to help the farmers, such as providing free pesticides and agricultural tools such as tractors to boost and speed up production so that the country's supply is not lacking. Ensuring that all farmers and fishermen belong to the 4Ps should also be implemented. Through this, the hardship experienced by farmers and fishermen who are never tired of working but are always annoyed, contented, and belittled by capitalists will be reduced. In terms of land, all mortgaged farmland must be redeemed by the farmers so as an aid. All the interest placed on the mortgaged land will be removed and the farmers can redeem it for the same amount as the mortgage. All land in the Philippines must have a title so that it becomes the legal ownership of the current landholder so that it will not be confiscated when the time comes, but it is appropriate to prioritize the lands cultivated and inhabited by the natives who are often cheated because there is not enough knowledge of legal documents. Land titling will also help the government because through this, the government can collect land tax that can be used for other projects and programs but excludes the taxpayer from the indigenous people, and lower taxes on agricultural lands and higher taxes on city lands and commercial building sites. The second is education. I can say that the educational system in the Philippines is no longer keeping up with the speed of the world's rotation, so it should be revised. If I am the president, in the first 3 years of elementary school students, it should be stated in the curriculum that attention should be paid to reading, writing, and speaking in the Filipino language, and addition and subtraction in mathematics, as well as good manners. With this, the student's foundation will be strong before facing more difficult lessons in the following years. In the last 3 years of elementary school, more complex lessons and subjects such as reading, writing, and speaking in English, rational, irrational numbers, and problem solving in mathematics, science, AP, EPP and MAPER should be focused on. Before the end of elementary school, a nationwide test should be conducted on students to determine whether children have learned in elementary school, and the top performing schools should be given a 1-year salary increase as a reward for their good performance. Teaching their students in high school the foundation in algebra, trigonometry, and geometry in mathematics, chemistry and physics in science, deeper exploration of Philippine and world history, and deeper use of the English language in speaking and writing should be strengthened. As in elementary, a test should also be conducted as an assessment of what the children have learned. In college, all subjects that are not connected to the student's course should be removed. Instead, college students must learn another language. But the language that the student should take is still adapted to the country's situation. For example, many nurses are needed in Germany, so German language should be taught to nursing students. For tourism students, the acquisition of Hangul Nihongo or Thai language is appropriate because many Koreans, Japanese and Thais visit the country, and it will be required that every hotel and resort in tourist destinations has a tourism graduate who can speak the language of foreign tourists who often go to their place. All courses that use computers in real work should also be used in school, including architecture, business-related, education, accountancy, IT and engineering so that students are ready to work after college graduate. Doing a thesis before graduation should also be eliminated. Making a thesis should be made optional. If the student can produce a useful thesis, this student does not need to take the board exam, but he still has to work for 1 year before getting a license. Those who did not make a thesis still need to take a board exam after 1 year of work connected to the completed course. Pre-law and pre-med before being able to study in these courses should also be eliminated because it only prolongs the study and often the pre-law and pre-med taken are not used. Instead of spending time in pre-law and pre-law, you can use these years to help others or become more specialized. The third is restructuring the health sector. Earlier it was mentioned that pre-med will be eliminated, therefore all students who want to take medicine will be able to directly apply to med schools. Therefore the 4 years that should have been spent in pre-med should be dedicated to conducting medical missions in different barangays that they want to help. The number of medical missions to be done is according to the agreement of the health department and the deans of all med schools. Medical missions are not obliged to provide medicine and vitamins, but looking at people and prescribing the right medicine for their illness is a big help for them. All barangays will also be required to educate at least one student who will take a nursing or medicine course until it is completed and licensed. In return, the barangay scholar must work for at least 10 years as a nurse or 15 years as a doctor in their barangay health center. All provincial hospitals must have at least one proper health machine such as X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound and others to immediately identify the disease or irregularity in the patient's body and prevent it before it gets worse. The system in PhilHealth should also be changed, especially the loss of the account or the previous month's premiums when you miss making the premiums and the slow process in claiming benefits. The fourth is the strengthening of tourism. As mentioned, another language will be added to the college curriculum. Because of this, the country will be more tourist-friendly, especially for tourists who do not or have difficulty speaking and understanding English, such as Thais and Koreans, because communication between tourists and tourist guides and hotel or resort staff will be easier. The enactment of a national festival of the Philippines to be called Pagani Festival or Philippine Harvest Festival will also help to boost tourism. The Pagani Festival is a festival to celebrate the abundant harvest of the country. Each region will be obliged to participate in the festival and will have to send 100 people to participate in the festival. The Pagani Festival has 4 parts: the street dancing, race game, king and queen of the Pagani, pageant, and the exhibition or the grand performance. The overall champion will receive a cash prize of at least 200,000 per participant, and farmers and fishermen in the winning region will receive additional assistance. With the help of this festival, we can show the whole country and the whole world how rich the culture of the Philippines is and will attract more tourists from different parts of the world. The fifth is protecting nature. If I am the president, I must strengthen the enforcement of laws that protect nature and everyone who lives in it. All mines should be checked for compliance with proper mining laws. Large fishing vessels should be monitored for proper distance from the shore and proper mesh size to protect fish and small fishermen. Immediately arrest all those who use dynamite and other explosives in the sea because they are very harmful to corals and fish. Immediately block all private individuals and groups that will attempt to dump land in the sea to build hotel infrastructure. Prohibition of all conversion of agricultural lands, burning and leveling of mountains to make malls, subdivisions or anything else. Stricter enforcement of proper waste management and punishment of violators. All establishments must also change how and where they dispose of their waste and immediately shut it down when proven to be in violation, and some of the priority ones are hospitals, hotels, and malls. All government establishments and buildings will be obliged to put flowering plants inside and outside the building, as many as there are employees of a particular building. The sixth is making and revising laws about taxation and economics. The train law has greatly helped the government to collect more taxes from the people that can be used for projects, but it has also caused a lot of hardship to the people, especially the self-employed and minimum wage earners whose wages have not changed, despite the increase in prices. So it should be revised, such as removing the excise tax on gasoline and reducing the excise tax placed on sugar products to reduce the suffering of Filipinos due to the decrease in gasoline. Almost all products will also decrease in value. The minimum income to be taxed should also be raised from 250,000 per year to 350,000 per year, and the tax of individuals who earn 10 million and more per year will be increased by several percent. Efforts should also be made to find more countries that want to import products from the country, such as bananas and mangoes, because it will help to develop the economy and reduce the importation of products that can be produced in the country, such as of rice, and this should really be focused on to increase production. FDI or foreign direct investment should also be eased from 60 to 40 restrictions to 100% foreign ownership, so that more foreign investors can invest in the country, which will open a lot of jobs for Filipinos, but this does not include airports, ports, and telecommunications, so that still protect the country's security. The seventh is the creation and revision of labor laws. If I were the president, I would not eliminate the ENDO, but I would enforce that all employees have SSS, and employers must pay it starting from the first month of employment without being deducted from the worker's assigned salary. All construction workers working in public and commercial buildings must receive a daily salary of at least 500 pesos and monthly contributions to their SSS. For OFWs, it is necessary to establish a bank that is only for OFWs, where 10% of the OFW's salary will go to it for them to save, and it is forbidden to take it out unless it is used for treating the OFW, buying a house, or building a business, but not all can be taken. This savings will also be returned to the OFWs as a monthly pension when they are retired and one of the senior citizens, so that the retired OFW can have a secure and stable life and will not remain in poverty. All OFWs will be given the opportunity to sign a document in which they allow their children and spouses to be investigated or monitored, if any, to ensure that the money sent is used for useful things and activities. And when there is any wrongdoing, the agency discovers allows it to bar the spouse or children from withdrawing money from the OFW's bank account until the relative involved changes. The eighth is the making and revision of social laws. If I were the president, I would launch a total gun ban, and any individual who uses guns, bombs and the like would be immediately punished. I will not allow the legalization of same-sex marriage, but the civil union can be allowed when it is proven that two people of the same sex are really in love and the relationship has lasted for at least 7 years and no immorality has been done, such as sex videos. Divorce will only be allowed if it is proven that the husband is physically harmed, but the divorced person will not be allowed to remarry. I will not allow the legalization of abortion, but women who have been raped can have an abortion up to 3 months of pregnancy, but must first prove that she was raped. It should also be legislated that the airing of pageants, Bikini Open and other contests or programs with obscenity should only be done in private places. Children under the age of 16 should not enter the place where the contest will be held. In television shows, only shows with bed scenes will be allowed to air from 10 at night. The closure of bars that pimp dancers and servers should be intensified. The enactment of anti-fake news should also be prioritized, so that people will be more careful in releasing news or information that may affect a person's view or perspective on a specific person, thing or event. And to imprison a person who blatantly poisons people's minds with false information to suit a person, group or situation. The last is the change of the country's political system, because it is also the most difficult and longest. The Philippines currently has a presidential political system. In the current state of the country, It is better to reduce the number of public officials in order to reduce the cost of paying them that can be used in other government projects. So if I were the president, I would abolish the legislative branch and the executive would become the legislature. The ward leaders appointed by the people in that ward will be the barangay legislature, the barangay captains will be the town legislature, the mayors will be the provincial legislature. The governors will be the regional legislature. Each region will have a provincial senator because only the voters of a particular region can vote for their future senator, who will also represent their region in the upper house and is tasked with making laws. Some of the rules in the new political system are as follows. 1. All public officials must first run for the lowest position, barangay captain if not graduated and mayor or lower if graduated from college. Will prohibit jumping from low to high positions such as from mayor to provincial senator. All the candidates running must have been clean in the use of funds in the previous administration, not committing immorality in word and deed such as adultery and joking about rape. The projects done in the previous term will also be counted and evaluated if the funds allocated to it were correct. All public officials must disclose the SAL. Candidates found in violation will not be allowed to run for any position in the future. Through the new political system, large government funds will be saved, and this fund can be used in the sectors mentioned, especially in the agriculture, education, and health sectors. All the sitting secretaries of the various departments, bureaus, and commissions are not chosen by the president. They must be voted on by all the heads or leaders of a specific department, bureau, and commission from all the provinces, where all those who wish to sit as secretaries go through the evaluation of their achievements and the revelation of plans in a debate with other aspirants to be secretary to determine who is the most worthy.